Hello everyone, this is Death Save Anxiety. This is my first video, so please bear in mind this is going to be new, this is going to be a little awkward, but that's okay, because we're going to do it together. So, I'm going to take a look at my notebook, see what I wrote here. Okay, so these are my first two OSR, or Old School Renaissance type RPGs, Cairn and White Box Fantastic Medieval Adventure Game. These are two that I've learned about quite a while ago when researching OSR, but what I intend to do with them is to make solo play videos, which is something I learned about much more recently. Solo play being playing an RPG without other players or even a GM or DM, Game Master or Dungeon Master. You are the player and you are the GM yourself. So, these two I decided on, Cairn and White Box, I decided on because, well, to be quite frank, they're some of the cheapest ones out there, and that does not indicate their quality, obviously, but they're print on demand, meaning this was like $3, this was like $4 or something like that on Amazon. And if I do like them, I will probably try and get a better version of them to play with. If not, that's okay. Then it's a low impact way to get into the hobby. So let's talk about the first thing. I made some notes for myself, as I said. So what I've seen on other channels so far, I've seen a lot of setup, because I'm an absolute beginner to this hobby. I'm an absolute beginner to OSR, an absolute beginner to solo RPG play. So I've seen on other channels such as Geek Gamers and Man Alone and God, I can't even think of them. If I think of any, or I'll check my playlist, I will definitely put them all in the description so you can check out other people, see what I've seen. But as an absolute beginner, it is a little intimidating to get into this hobby, but there are lots of resources and people that are willing to discuss and willing to share their experiences. And I think that's fantastic. I really do think that a lot of people have put themselves out there to make this hobby more accessible. And it's just such an interesting niche kind of place to find yourself. It's like journaling. As you can see, I have myself a journal that I got. It's just line paper. I got myself a journal. I got myself these two little RPGs. Well, they're not little, but two small books of RPGs, and there's some character sheets back there. This is kind of just my description of what I've got for this particular hobby. So I got myself a new journal, got these RPGs, printed out some character sheets. I saw some actually utilize cards, so I got myself a cool little cyberpunk deck of bicycle cards. Then you can use your bag of dice. You know, I got my D20s, got a D6 under my little guy here. It utilizes a lot of the same things as, you know, a 5e player would see, and I am a 5e player. That's the first D&D I played, 5e. And so I'm used to seeing books like this that are $40, you know, 40, 50, 60 bucks. But Cairn and White Box are just so interesting to me. I love the old school mentality of different thoughts and different just kind of the different perspective on the game. And I think it's fantastic that there's different ways to play the game. There's different mentalities and stuff. So the tools that I got for this were, as I described, a pack of cards, the actual books themselves, because I don't want to have to rely on my computer. The only thing I have on my computer is just the audio track. That's it. Then what else did I get? I don't think I got anything else, really, to be honest. I'm looking back, looking around. Yeah, it's low impact to get into. If you have dice, it's good. If not, you can get yourself like a bag of, what is this? Seven dice is the standard set, and it's easy to get into. As far as the tools I've gathered, let's see what I've seen from other channels. I've seen lots of preparation. I have barely seen any gameplay, so what I actually know about solo RPG play is very little. But I have a way that I intend to play and what I intend to get from the hobby, and that's just what I like about it is that there's a lot of different ways you can interpret the hobby, from what I've seen. And then, yeah, we can discuss how I want to play. So with Cairn and with Whitebox, I'm going to look into them today, and I'll kind of separate the video at that point. But what I want to get out of it is kind of like creative writing and journaling, and an exercise for me to kind of pour my creativity into. Hold on, my guy's about to fall off. Sorry. Pour my creativity into, but also to storytell and to come up with good role play, even between characters that I'm creating myself. And I really just enjoy the combat systems in these games, and just finding myself in these interesting situations that you have to use creativity to get out of. And I wondered how that would be if you are the GM and you're the player. Well, you're not the GM technically. There's this thing called the Oracle system, which I'll discuss later on with actually going into these books, because these are not solo RPGs themselves. They are RPGs that people have created tools to make solo RPGs out of. So I wanted to see what I could get out of this, and just, decided on a whim to create a YouTube channel for it. But that was not the intent initially. I just wanted to go into this, and then I was like, oh, there's people that go back and talk about their beginning experiences, but I haven't seen a lot of actual beginner play. So that's something I wanted to do after thinking about it. But I think that's enough about my setup and about my first experiences. This is my desk that I play computer games at and that I work at when I'm doing anything serious. I don't have a lot of space, so you'll see that my mic is right here and my keyboard's right there. Sorry if that's distracting. I'll probably move that next time completely off the desk. But I intend to put, little cute things here and there that just show what I'm thinking about and what I'm interested in. But that's my space. So let's go to the next part where I actually look into Cairn and Whitebox. Okay, this is Death Save Anxiety, as you already know. We're going to look into Cairn first. It says, an adventure game inspired by the likes of Into the Odd and Knave, explore a mysterious woodland filled with all manner of creatures fey and fell, pillage ancient barrows, steal powerful spellbooks, and slay horrid beasts. Content, design, and layout, and I think this is how you say it, I'm not really sure. Yokai Gal? It looks like yokai, kind of like the Japanese, word. I'm not really sure. So I'm sorry if I butchered that. Jim Parkin is editing, cover design, Cosmic Orrery, and I love this. This is my favorite of all the OSR that I think I've seen. I would have to say this is probably my favorite of the cover designs. I love that it's just like very minimal buildings at the top. There's this guy like flicking off the viewer, but everything else is just overgrowth, and I love that. And then character sheet is Lycopeo. Okay, so let's take a look inside. I have not looked at these books yet. I was very patient and I waited. So, Cairn is an adventure game for one facilitator, the warden, and at least one other player. See, that's what this is intended to be, is a multiplayer or a tabletop game amongst other people. But we will be playing solo. Players act as hardened adventurers, exploring a dark and mysterious wood filled with strange folk, hidden treasure, and unspeakable monstrosities. There's a thank you. There's some resources. There are a lot of resources for this game. So this is the kind of design philosophy of Cairn. It's classless, which I think is very interesting. Your equipment is kind of what determines your specialty, and your experiences kind of define your specialty rather than a single class. Neutrality. The warden's role is to portray the rules, situations, NPCs, and narrative clearly while acting as a neutral arbiter. So you're not particularly helping or hurting the player characters. You are just kind of like a neutral observer, and you're just moving things along. Death is always around the corner. It's never random, never without warning. It is what I don't know how you'd say this. It's kind of like you are reminded constantly that your characters are not invincible, whereas like something like D&D 5e, the characters are much more powerful than OSR D&D. Player choice is very important. Fiction first. rules and dice rolls and stuff like that are not as important as the story. Principles, let's see. The warden and the players each have guidelines to help foster a specific play experience defined by critical thinking, exploration, and emergent narrative. So again, this is very exploration kind of centered and first. Growth, characters are changed through in-world advancement, surviving dangerous events and overcoming obstacles, and shared objectives. So that's a kind of a multiplayer sort of thing. But it's very clear what the design principles are, and I really like that. There's warden advice, which is the GM. There's advice for players and kind of like what the principles are. So there's character creation. The character creation is 1 page, from what I can tell. I think you kind of flip between maybe equipment lists and stuff like that. Like there's names and backgrounds right here. But there's name, backgrounds, and traits. And I think traits might be... Let's see. Yeah, traits are just like kind of your physique and your reputation and the way your face looks and stuff like that. So important, but not gameplay per se. And I do like that. I love flavor. Flavor is important. So I'm not saying that's not important. I'm just saying I wanted to know what traits were because they're not ability scores. There's HP. There's the inventory. The inventory is very restricted from what I remember. Yeah, 10 inventory slots, and things can be 2 slots, 1 slot, that sort of thing. They're very restrictive, and I like that because this is completely different than 5e. And that's kind of what I was going into this looking for, was something different. And I really do appreciate that. There's starting gear. You get, what is it, gold, a torch, and rations. So let's see. There's tables for equipment. There's tables for names. There's a bestiary back here. You can get scars, which are when you are reduced to exactly 0. And it's just like kind of things that stick with you. It's very interesting. Like here, I'll read one for you. Let's look at Doomed. I like Doomed. Death seemed ever so close, but somehow you survived. If your next save against critical damage is a fail, you die horribly. If you pass, roll 3d6. If the total is higher than your max HP, take the new result. Interesting. Here's the character sheet. I like this one a lot. It's very nice, very clean, laid out, and just, yeah, this book is more of a pamphlet or a booklet, and I knew that coming into it, so don't expect a big book. This is just exactly the rules you need to get into the game, and that's it. And it's very clean and concise. I really like this. I knew it was going to be a small book. I just didn't know what was in it. So, Cairn, this is Cairn. Let's let the camera focus on it. I don't know. I can't see the camera, so we'll just hope that focused. This is White Box, fantastic medieval adventure game. This is the second RPG I got, or RPG system. So this one, it says on the back, White Box FMAG, unleash your imagination to dream of other worlds where you roleplay heroic characters and go on adventures just like in the days of old. Slay a dragon, explore the unknown, and fight on. This is cool. This one is much bigger. This is like, yeah, 140 pages. I remembered that. Let's see. So there's editing in some words, Charlie Mason, cover art, Michael Clark, interior art, William McGosland, and James V. West, character sheet. Layout, Michael Clark. Forums, I'll leave that. I don't know if these are actually still active, so. Okay. Let's see, table of contents. This is good, because this is much bigger. I want to see what we have. We have getting started, so rule number 1, dice, about the optional rules, character sheets. Oh yes, this is a system that utilizes optional rules if you so want them. Because this is based on OSR, like old D&D, there are some rules that are pretty intense or pretty, I don't know, just kind of different than what people might be used to. So there are optional rules you can use. Let's see. Character sheets, attributes, experience bonus, hit points, alignment, character retirement. Oh, retirement. I didn't think about that. Character classes. The classes are very basic in old D&D. There's cleric, fighter, magic user, and thief. And I think some even are just fighter, magic user, thief. I think cleric is like one that I've seen as a later D&D edition, because I think this is like 0th edition through 1st edition, and advanced D&D is maybe 1st edition. I don't remember. I learned all this stuff and I just forgot it. Character races: dwarf, elf, halfling. There's not even a human in here, I don't think. I think Cairn has humans, if I remember correctly. Equipment, playing the game, so gaming experience, time, or gaining experience, I'm sorry. Time, movement, so like the rules and kind of the guidelines of the way things work in the dungeon. This is very much the dungeon delve sort of RPG. Like, you go between a town and a dungeon, basically. As so I've heard. Spells and magic, running the game, so for GM, this is stuff that I'll need to learn. Monsters, so a bestiary, and treasure. Treasure is very important in old D&D. That's the way you gain XP if you're not killing monsters. And killing monsters in old D&D is a lot more scary and a lot more risky. So, oh, house rules. That's interesting. Okay, so let's take a look at... We'll go to number 10 here, page 10. We'll look at the character classes. This art is really cool. I like this guy's face. It's kind of funny. Kind of, I'm sure that it's not going to show up because I need to learn exactly where my camera's positioned. It's all very new to me, YouTube and everything. So there's a cleric, very armored man or woman. I don't actually know. Armored person. There's the fighter, the magic user, and the thief. Very basic, but I like that there's kind of 2 pages or 3-page spreads of things for that. For each class. There's the dwarf, the elf, and the halfling for character class, or races, sorry. And I think even some of the old systems are race as class, which I think is interesting, but I don't particularly like. I do like the thing of 5e where you can be any race in any class. Because, you know, no matter if, you know, dwarves are always blacksmiths and, you know, like warriors and stuff like that. I always think there's anomalies. There always will be anomalies. And I think that's very important. Equipment, let's see. Let's go back to the table of contents. Let's see. Let's go to playing the game on page 30. I do plan on flipping through these more in depth with myself, but I want people to just get a little overview of it from my perspective. So here's playing the game, gaining experience. As you can see, they drew a gold hoard, or like a kind of a hoard of just gems and gold in this. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit my mic there. Beautiful sword. There's time. Time is very interesting because certain things in the dungeon move along with you, like monsters. Time is important as far as the time it takes to use a move in combat. There's outdoor movement. Listening at doors is something that I really love. Wait, humans. Oh, maybe humans are just, you know what a human is, so that's why they don't talk about it as a character race. But I guess you can play as a human. Interesting. Yeah, listening at doors, secret doors, traps, finding traps. That's such an interesting component you don't see a lot in 5e. Just because the dungeon dives are interestingly different and focus on more like puzzles and kind of just different aspects. It's just a different era of the game. I really like it. I know I just said different probably as many times as I can count on 2 hands, but let's see. There's spells. Jousting. Jousting is a thing. That's crazy. Where am I? I don't even know where I am. I'm getting a little sidetracked here, so we're probably gonna wrap it up soon. But I'm gonna go back. Ooh, that's disgusting. I don't want a centipede in my face. I hate centipedes. So let's look at the house rules. I actually want to see the house rules. Okay. Oh, it's just a page where you write your own. Okay, that's what I figured. That was like, that's kind of interesting. They have their own house rules. I figured it'd be maybe suggestions for one, but it's just you write your own. Here is the white box character sheet. I think that's exactly what I have, or something very similar. Actually, here, let's just look. This is different. This is what this one looks like in this book. Then there's copyright and everything, and this is very interesting. Much bigger than Cairn, because Cairn is based on systems that are based on OSR, or no, sorry. Cairn is based on systems that are based upon the old school D&D rules, where this is more interpretation of the old school D&D rules. So this is like one step removed from D&D, I would say. Old school D&D, where this is like maybe 2 steps removed, if I had to kind of put it out there from what I understand. But so this is getting to around 20 minutes or so. Hopefully this is interesting for people to understand where I'm coming from wanting to play, and where I've seen things, what I've seen, what I've gotten for it, and how low impact it is to get into. We'll see how interesting I find this, and hopefully I find it very interesting because I love RPGs and I love playing these games, but I just want to crack it open right now and play, but I do have to wait, unfortunately. Let's see, anything else? Probably not. So thank you guys for watching Death Save Anxiety. This is a new channel here. You know, please stick around for more. I do intend to actually play these games and not just ramble, but once I actually get into it, then I will start talking about the Oracle systems that I've seen, you know, stuff I've seen on you know, places you can buy them, like Drive-Thru RPG, or like itch.io is actually huge for these communities. I really love that itch is being used. I love itch.io as a place for gaming. But yeah, once we actually get into the games, we can discuss rules, and we can discuss house rules, what I intend to, you know, fudge and move, and how the Oracle systems work and everything like that. But thank you guys for watching. This has been Death Save Anxiety. I really appreciate, you know, you guys listening to me ramble for nearly 20 minutes, or over 20 minutes at this point. And you know, hand reveal, look at that, that's crazy. I have to hold on to the stuff underneath my desk with my right hand, so you probably won't see that too much right now. But yeah, thank you guys.